365 Radio. This is Paul Catalina's Top 5 at 5:55, presented by Champion Salon and Barber. To book your appointment, go to ChampionSalonandBarber.com.
Top 5 ways John Madden contributed to football. And there's a lot more, but these are the 5 that stand out to me the most. And the number 1 and the number 2 are pretty steadfast. The other 3 you can move around as you want. But number 5, his attention to the offensive and defensive lines as part of the broadcast. Not that other broadcasters hadn't done this before, but the way he highlighted it, I think for a generation of young football players like me, a kid who was destined for the offensive line, but nobody really wants to play that when you're little. You know, you want to be the running back or the quarterback or a wide receiver. You want to score touchdowns. The way that he made it seem like it was so important, which it is, and crucial to the game, made you want to do it and made you want to grasp it. So I think there's a ton of young offensive and defensive linemen out there, especially guys that were my age, that embrace that, because on Sunday when you watch John Madden doing a game, he was talking about Eric Williams as much as he was talking about Emmitt Smith in the same game.
He did. He did. He made it cool. He made it cool to be a big, fat, ugly guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he absolutely did. And I think it was awesome. Number 4, endorsements. I think before Madden, broadcasters had endorsements, but did anybody really think about them being like personalities? Was it as much personality driven for a guy who was, again, John Madden is not handsome or athletic. He was just big and funny and boisterous. But the way that he kind of, built a personality around the kind of products that he endorsed.
Yeah, I mean, there's been plenty of guys who's pitched things, a Mean Joe Green with Coke or whatever, things like that. But I mean, a consistently visible guy who, no matter what he showed up on, from like shaving cream to a video game to McDonald's or something, like you're just like, oh, that's John Madden. Everybody knew who he was, and yeah, he kind of again going back to that sort of grandpa thing that I sort of felt with him. He was a terrific pitchman, and I bet he made as much money pitching products as he did doing anything NFL-wise.
Boom, Tough Actin' Tinactin.
Tough Actin' Tinactin, yeah. I mean, why would name another Tinactin commercial?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen one? Yeah. Have you ever thought about it outside of John Madden? Probably not, right?
Yeah. But if I ever had athlete's foot, I'm going to go get some Tinactin because John Madden told me to. Number 3, the way he used the telestrator, not just
it was unbelievable
with the the plays, but to just here's the sweat running down the legs. Here's Troy Aikman's beard. Oh, look at this guy, he's eating a hot dog over here. I mean, he had that kind of Harry Carey about him, where the surrounding elements of the football game were as important as the game to itself. And there's nobody who was more fun to watch because of those kind of things.
Well, you take it here, you go to here, you take it. Like there was a video earlier of Nate Newton's head, the steam rising off his head. Next thing you know, he had all these lines coming up trying to draw the steam, and it was just like crayons or a 5-year-old. But it was making sense, and he did it. Again, he was not afraid to enjoy life, enjoy the game, and make fun of, in some cases, himself or others as well.
Yeah. Number 2, the video game. And Craig's point was good earlier in that NBA Jam was good. Super Tecmo Bowl was the football game before then, but if you had Bo Jackson, you just score a touchdown on every play by running in a circle. So,
pretty much.
Yeah, so it didn't really matter, all that much, but it wasn't real. And NBA Jam was just 2-on-2, and it was different. It was fun, but the one that
they don't shoot flaming basketballs when they make a bunch of threes in a row.
Yeah, but Madden actually his goal was to teach people about football. Like, this is what a 3-4 defense looks like. This is what a 4-3. This is what it looks like when somebody blitzes. This is how the board looks like when you're drawing up a play. And there's a bunch of kids who know what that looks like before they even set foot in because they played the video game. And as much as I think video games can get a little excessive, that one actually he had a mission with it that worked.
I think it'd be interesting to poll or somehow gather the data, how much he educated people on football, even just through the video game, and them learning through playing it. I'm sure a great deal of people. I certainly know some friends who played football, but they learned a lot more about, there's a difference came when they suddenly learned, like, what cover 2 really is, and, what a base or not base, but like just the different terms and different formations and things like that. I think a lot of people learned that through the video game and just playing it for hours and hours and hours. And he was a teacher of the game, I think, as much as probably anybody's ever been.
Yeah. And number one, he changed the way color commentators do their job. And I think that he was right after Don Meredith, who kind of made it okay to be silly a little bit, because Don Meredith was a goofball. But he was also in the booth with Howard Cosell, so Don Meredith and Frank Gifford could be themselves to a point where Howard would allow them to be. So if there was 100% of the personality was in a bowl with the Monday Night Football broadcast with Howard Cosell, 85% of that or more was going to be Howard, and the rest he was going to decide based on the moment. And that was it for whatever sport he did or whatever he was doing. Howard Cosell was going to decide the personality is going to be here, and you guys are here to give me a break.
Yeah, he was the reason I got into broadcasting, Cosell.
And look, Cosell was he's one of the greatest, but as far as how he ran that booth, that's how he ran it. Now, when John Madden came along, part of that was having a guy like Pat Summerall who realized, you know what, I'm here to tell the story, but John and I are equal in this task, in that I'm going to tell the story and John is going to put so much flavor into this thing that this broadcast is going to be enjoyable. And then from then on, you look at what you have now, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. Troy is as much of it as Joe is, and Joe highlights Troy as much as he does. And to a larger extent, Jim Nantz knows that with Tony Romo. Jim Nantz didn't have to get out of the way of Tony Romo, especially as green as Tony Romo was a couple years ago when he came in. His first gig was in the booth. But Jim Nantz knew that in the Madden tradition.
It takes a hell of a lot for someone like Jim Nantz or a Pat Summerall, who are great at what they do, but also, no matter how good a people they might be, there's an ego there. It doesn't matter whether it's talk show or a broadcaster, to understand that the others involved are special or there's something unique about them, and let them run. Yeah. I mean, Nantz with Romo was like, whoa, a lot of times that could be a problem. And they had a great transition. I think Nantz is the one that, like, when I don't know about when he debuted or when he was trying out for the job or whatever. I think Nantz had a huge part to do with that. Rich Dalrymple of the Cowboys, in fact, had a lot to do with suggesting Romo, and I never thought that would work because Romo was so reclusive in some ways when it comes to interviews and stuff like that.
But he let him run because Madden showed that, like, let the guys run and let the personalities grow. All
right. Anything else, Craig? All right, Paul, thank you very much. Jack, McKenzie, and Armstrong, we're going to pack all this up. Be back here again tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Thanks to so many different people. Thanks to Avery, Josh, Charlie. I don't want to leave everybody out. Carlos, among some others. They're getting ready to dial up some food here at the media area, the headquarters. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Bunch of guests tomorrow.